Now moving on, the other important aspect that was covered in the definition of psychology was that behavior, right? It studies behavior. Now what is behavior? We are busy doing an activity or giving reaction or a response, it can be amounted to behavior. So whenever we are doing an activity or whenever we are doing any kind of work, and how do we react to it, how do we respond to certain things around us is included in our behavior. Okay. This behavior can be from the most simple kind to the most complex level. So behavior ka range is from simple to complex. You can show simple behavior also, and sometimes people tend to show complex behavior also. Depends on what kind of situation it is and what kind of reaction does the situation demand from us. In psychology, behavior is recognized as a chain of reaction between stimulus and response. So in psychology, what is behavior? Your reaction or your response to stimulus. Now what is stimulus? Okay, stimulus is something, let us say I gave you an example of a candle, right? So you are holding the candle and then you remove your hand. So the fact that the candle is a stimulus, it's something which gives you a response. Stimulus is anything which gives you a response, right? So candle is a stimulus and you removing your hand is your response or your reaction to it. For example, you are very hungry, okay, and your mother is cooking something and you smell the food, right? You could smell the food and automatically you will start getting saliva in your mouth, okay, modha ma pani aava man se, right? So food is your stimulus and modha ma pani aavu is your response to the food. So stimulus is anything which gives you a response, okay? So it can be anything. If I am there, okay, I am really irritating you, I am really annoying you and you get angry, so I will be the stimulus and your anger will be your response. Okay, I hope you all understood what is stimulus and response. Stimulus is something which gives you a response. Okay, so anything, it can be anything, it can be a person, it can be a material, it can be anything around the environment which you live in. Okay, so behavior depends on your stimulus and how you respond to it. Okay. For example, when a teacher is entering the classroom, the students are talking, but once the teacher has entered, the students immediately get up. Here the teacher is the response, whereas the rising of the students is, here the teacher is a stimulus, whereas the rising of the students is a response. So they have given you an example that everybody is talking in the class, and as soon as the teacher enters the class, everybody automatically gets up. So teacher is the stimulus and the students getting up is the response. The behavior which is stimulus response in nature can be for a long term, short term, internal, external one, which is overt and also which is covert. Okay, so what are they saying? That your behavior which is related to your stimulus and your response is sometimes natural, sometimes it is long term reaction, sometimes it is short term reaction, sometimes it is an internal reaction, sometimes it's an outward reaction. Okay, external reaction, sometimes it's a covert reaction and sometimes it's an overt reaction. Covert and overt also means basically your internal and external only. It's in psychology they keep saying covert and overt. Okay, so covert is something that is internal behavior, while overt is something which is external behavior. Okay, so what they have tried to tell us is that your behavior, okay, or your behavior is mainly dependent on your stimulus and your response. So your behavior due to stimulus and response can be either short one, long term, internal, external, covert or overt. Okay. We are able to observe physical movements, behavior, but thought processes or logical thinking, which is a type of a mental behavior, cannot be directly observed. So what are they trying to tell us? That your physical behavior, I can observe it and I can understand you. But what is going on in your mental process, whatever things are going on in your brain, I cannot understand that behavior, because obviously you don't show what things you are feeling because of your because of your mental processes that is happening. For example, I'll give you a situation. There is a person in your class who gets very very angry, okay, and starts beating up other students, especially when you are playing the game of basketball. Okay, let's say the student gets very angry and starts beating another girl up because they are playing the game of basketball and they cannot control their anger. So the fact that that girl is showing me the anger, I can observe her behavior. Observe मतलब હું જોઈ શકું છું કે ગુસ્સે થાય છે, right? So from that I'll come to know, okay, this girl is a girl who gets very angry easily and starts beating up students. Okay, that's because I'm able to see the behavior of a person which is outside, and I can understand that that person ka nature is anger. Okay, and that this person has a problem of anger and she cannot control her anger. Now let me give you another example. There is a student in my class who comes and who really respects me and who really loves me and who really says, ma'am, I'm your big fan, ma'am, I really like you, this, that, whatever. But internally, inside her brain, she's like, oh, this ma'am is so khadus. You know, મને તો આ મેમ જરાય નથી ગમતા, હું તો ખાલી એને આવું બધું એને સારા લગાડવા માટે કહું છું તાકી મને માર્ક્સ આપી દે, બાકી તો મારે એની હારે કાંઈ મતલબ નથી. શી ઇઝ સો ઇરિટેટિંગ, જ્યારે પણ એ ક્લાસમાં આવે ત્યારે મને એનું મોઢું જોવું બી ન ગમે. બટ ઓલ ધીસ થિંગ યુ આર થિંકિંગ. Now as a teacher, I will not come to know what you are thinking or what is going on in your mental process, because I cannot read your mind. No psychologist can read your mind. Okay, let me be very very frank. So what happens is, those behavior which you show, you can observe it and you can come to know, okay, this is the behavior of a person. But what happens in your mental process, what happens, what is going on in your mind, what is going on in your brains, what things you are thinking, how logical you are, logical etle practical you are, what things you think, I don't come to know about it, because it all is in your head and you obviously you are not going to tell me you are thinking all these things, right? So that is what it is. Okay, now you understood. Behavior can be of various types, verbal or non-verbal, in which words are used and movements are made respectively. So there are two types of behavior. Verbal behavior, in which obviously through my mouth I speak words, I convey my message, and from that you will come to know what my behavior is. If I say, why are you talking in class, everybody just shut up and sit down, okay, I'm very irritated. So verbally you come to know that ma'am is angry. Okay, but let's say non-verbal, I come in the class, okay, I take the book, I just put it on the table, you all wish me good morning, and I don't respond to it. I just take the chalk and I start writing on the board. So by looking at my behavior, from my physical actions, from my movements, from my facial expression, you come to know that I am angry. So behavior can be seen through words also and through your physical action and your movements also. Okay. These are external as well as internal reasons for different types of behavior. What is your behavior? Why do you show certain type of behavior? It depends on your internal as well as your external factors. Okay. In the same manner, response which occurs in the account of stimuli may be internal or external in nature, that is, which can be seen with a naked eye, and one which cannot be seen. The psychology is a subject matter which studies behavior of humans, beings and animals. So what they are saying is that sometimes the response you get because of a stimulus it can be external also, it can be internal also. Okay, so that is why external behavior you will be able to observe it from your eyes, and internal behavior you won't be able to observe from your eyes. So all these things are included in your behavior. Okay, and behavior is the main thing which you study in psychology. You do study it in animals also, and you study it in human beings also. Now moving on to the next is, what is science? Psychology is a science. That means science is a special type of knowledge, or knowledge that is obtained by making use of special methods. When any subject makes use of specific methodology for its study, then it is considered as a science. Now what they are saying is that psychology is a science. Okay, and what is a science? Science is something which gives you a special type of knowledge. Okay, it gives you a special kind of knowledge, and that is why it is called a science. Okay. Now what happens is that what do you do in science? For example, let us take chemistry. You two mix two chemicals and then you observe what is happening, right? So what method are you using over here? That you are mixing two chemicals. That is a method. Okay, or a technique which you are using in order to observe the change of color happening when you mix two chemicals. Simple, that is a method or technique which you are using. And in science, when you use different methods, methodology means using different methods to study a particular subject, then it becomes a science. And in psychology also, you have different methods of studying the subject. There are different methods of conducting the experiment, to conduct research, to conduct things in the subject of psychology, so that you get a proper understanding of the subject. Okay, so like I just can't take a diary, go in the ground and start observing the behavior or start seeing the behavior of people. No, I have to follow proper method. Why am I studying the behavior of students? What is the reason? What am I looking for? Okay, what age group I am going to take? What is the aim of my study? What are the objectives? How did I do my study? And that is why you can consider that psychology is a science, because psychology uses different kind of methods to study the problems. Repetition, change, control and objectivity are the characteristics of science. Repetition meaning કે સાયન્સમાં શું થાય, I told you કે મેં એક કેમિકલ બીજા કેમિકલ હારે મિક્સ કર્યું તો મને C કેમિકલ મળ્યું, પણ હર એક વખતે જ્યારે હું એ કેમિકલને બી કેમિકલ હારે મિક્સ કરું ત્યારે હર ટાઈમ મને C કેમિકલ જ મળવું પડે. ઓકે, તો જ મારું એક્સપેરિમેન્ટ રાઈટ છે. અગર હું A અને B ને મિક્સ કરું અને મને એકવાર D કેમિકલ મળે ને એકવાર E કેમિકલ મળે ને એકવાર બીજું કંઈક કેમિકલ મળે તો મારું એક્સપેરિમેન્ટ રોંગ છે. ઓકે, ટોટલી ઇટ ઇઝ રોંગ. સો વોટ આર દે સેઇંગ ઇઝ દેટ repetition, when you are doing two things, it should lead to same result. It should have objectivity. Objectivity એટલે it should have objectives ki why you are doing it, what is the reason behind it. There should be a change, right? When I am mixing two chemicals, it's leading to a change into a different chemical. So change should happen, objectivity should be there. Okay, and these three things are the main characteristics or are the main points of science, of any